Hey everyone, welcome. My name is David Sunshine, and Sunshine's my real last name. And I'd love to share a little bit about my journey with yoga and how it shaped my life over the years. And really, I was first drawn to yoga in my late teens, not so much because I was flexible or looking for exercise, but because I was curious about its deeper wisdom. I'd been given books by my father, which really shaped my life at an early age. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse and Be Here Now by Ram Dass. And I was so intrigued and enthralled by the world of Eastern philosophy. And I wanted to understand the connection between the body, mind, and spirit. And over time, my practice evolved, but it's always been more than just asana. It's always been about a broader understanding of life and awareness and, using all the beautiful gifts that yoga has given us to understand ourselves so that we may bring more presence into our everyday life, using our breath, using our bodies, meditating. All of that has really, for me, from a very young age, been very influential in my growth and in my experience. And for anyone who's just beginning the path, my best advice is just be kind to yourself. Yoga is not about forcing your body into shapes. It's really about listening deeply and developing your ability to listen. Listen without judgment to your body and to your inner world. And when you do that, yoga is going to meet you exactly where you're at. So you don't need to force things. As a teacher, as a yoga studio owner for many years, balance hasn't always come easy. The most simple practices can be the most profound, and I've learned that just making time for, a little breath work or meditation every day is really powerful. And as well as I love to walk in nature, I have a little cacao business called Lightning Dreamer where I make cacao elixirs, and that helps me stay grounded, as well as learning boundaries. Learning the ability to say no to guard my energy is part of self-care just as much as asana. And there are many teachings that have guided me over the years. I think of the Bhagavad Gita and the idea of acting without attachment to results. It's been very influential in my life. It's influenced how not only I teach, but how I live and how I can show up more fully just by letting go of control of outcomes. But I like also Patanjali Yoga Sutras and the Radiant Sutras, just as a entry into greater expanded consciousness in everyday moments. On a personal note, I'll share a story where years ago, not too long ago, as I was closing the Dallas Yoga Center, I went through a very difficult time financially and emotionally. And my practice of simply sitting and breathing and chanting mantras, mainly to Green Tara. I have a big history and background with the Dalai Lama and Tibetan Buddhism. I take groups to go meet him with a travel company, which I do for fun. I love to take people to India and Nepal. I'm about to go to Peru with a group of people to meet the Q'ero elders and shamans, and that's a lot of fun for me. But all of that to say, I really have always used that in order to just find ways to get through the hardest times of my life, the simplest practices of breathing and grounding. And I've had dry spells in my practice, where I just also come back to those simple moments of mindful breaths and child's pose and walking barefoot in the grass. So sometimes it's less about doing more and more about just reconnecting with the earth and myself. And so right now I'm very passionate about weaving together the Buddhist tradition of Tibetan Buddhism, which I have a great love and passion for, with the yoga and Andean wisdom, as well as my deep studies in somatic movement. I studied with Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen and had that opportunity for years to really learn how to make yoga more of a somatic experience, where my body is leading the way through a felt sense versus a thinking and a doing. I've also had the great blessing to study with BKS Iyengar and TKV Desikachar, and they've taught me so much, just how to deeply listen to my breath, listen to my body, listen to my mind, and all of that has really rippled through my life and my teachings. I hope to share some of that with you here at the Texas Yoga Retreat. And, it's helped me continue to just deepen my practice of really being more fully embodied and being more fully human and being more resilient and reminding myself that I am safe and that I belong on this planet. And that's what I'm hoping to share with each and every one of you. So I hope to see you there and look forward to our time to connect. The Texas Yoga Retreat's a blast. It's just a great way for our community here in Texas to come together and build bonds and make connections and share what we love, our passion for yoga. Thank you. Namaste.